Greetings everyone and welcome. We have reached the second half of version 2.1 in Wuthering Waves. And that means we have got two new banners to consider. The first is the rerun featuring Changli and the other is the brand new 5-star character Brant. So many of you are asking, should you pull for Brant? Is he worth if you already have Changli? How good Brant really is? And what if you don't have Changli? Should you still go for Brant? Or should you save your resources for someone else? Let's dive in and break it all down. I have got the answers to all your questions. First, let's get to know Brant a little better. Brant is a 5-star fusion character who uses a sword. He is known as the captain of Renasata's troop of fools, and his character is described as a free spirit and a romantic. Beyond his personality, in battle, he is a character who deals damage and as well as heals. It's a deadly combination you can see. While Brant has a range of attacks, heavy attacks and other skills like normal attacks, we are going to focus on what makes him stand out. His resonance skill, resonance liberation, forte circuit and the outro skill. These are the abilities that really defines how he plays and where he fits into a team. Brand's skill set is noteworthy. His resonance skill anchors a weight, lets him launch into the air, damaging enemies in the area. If his Bravo meter isn't full, this skill turns into a plunging attack, which consumes stamina and deals fusion damage considered as basic attack damage. To the horizon, his resonance liberation deals fusion damage to enemies, heals nearby allies, and puts Brant into the aflame state, crucial for his damage output. This skill can also be cast in mid-air, while Brant's forte circuit Ocean Audacy adds an interesting twist. He gains additional attack based on his energy region. While Bravo is full, his resonance skill transforms into Return from Ashes, dealing fusion damage and generating a shield. Now lastly, the course is set is an impressive outro skill for buffing your team. It amplifies the incoming resonance fusion damage by 20% and resonance skill damage by 25% for 14 seconds or until they are switched out. These combined skill makes Brand a formidable and a versatile character in any lineup. Now you may ask me that MJ, that was great and all, the resonance skill, the resonance liberation, but we just wanna know when is Brand good and when is he bad. Now listen up very carefully. Brand truly shines in few specific situations. As a support for Changli, Brand's outro skill will buff fusion damage and resonance skill damage, makes him an ideal support for Changli. They are made for each other. Their kit synergizes well, allowing for quick swap and amplified damage. As a healer with decent DPS, he can provide healing while still contributing a reasonable amount of damage. When energy regen is high, Brand's damage scales with his energy regen stat, so the more you invest in his stat, the more damage he will do and the more often he can use the resonance liberation. Now last but not the least, free-to-play friendly. Brant is relatively easy to build, especially for free-to-play players because he relies on energy regen, which is often found in 4-star weapons. And I know this is great because you don't have to worry about another 5-star weapon to pull. Now that was great and all, but now let's move on to the not so good part of Brant. Despite his strengths, Brant isn't always the best choice. First of all, without Changli, while Brant can be used with other characters, he doesn't have the same level of synergy as he does with Changli. If you are not planning on using Changli, his potential is somewhat diminished. Secondly, when you need a dedicated DPS, Brant is a hybrid character. He can heal and deal damage, but he doesn't excel as a primary DPS. If you need someone to carry your team out in terms of damage, there might be better options. And at the last but not the least, if you don't invest in his crit, you may avoid him because if you want Brant to deal significant damage after using his resonance liberation, you will need to invest time in finding echoes and sets with good crit stats. So what should you do now? Should you pull for Brant if you have Changli? Now, if you have Changli, then Brant becomes a much more compelling pull. Their synergy is undeniable. Brand's outro skill directly benefits Changli, and they can be used in a quick swap team to maximize their combined damage output. In this case, Brant is a must pull to increase both characters' performance. Now, this was the easier part. Now comes the trickier part here. Should you pull for Brant if you don't really have Changli? Now, this is a trickier question because you will need to consider a few things first. First of all, do you need a healer? If you are lacking a good healer, Brant can fill the role while also providing some damage. Secondly, are you willing to invest in the energy regen for Brant? To get the most out of Brant, you will need to prioritize the energy regen on his weapon and echoes. And last, do you have other fusion characters? While Brant's synergy with Changli is special, he can still work with other fusion characters. However, keep in mind that his outro skill is best used with a character who deals fusion damage and benefits from resonance skill damage buff. If your answer is yes to the most of your questions, then Brant might still be worth pulling even if you don't have Changli. Now that being said, who else should you consider for pulling? Now if you are not sure about Brant, here are some of the other characters to consider depending on your needs. First one is Phoebe. Now she came in the 2.0's first half. If you had pull her, then it's great. If you need a strong main DPS, especially one who deals spectro damage, Phoebe is an excellent choice. She's also F2P friendly. Secondly, Encore. If you are looking for another fusion sub DPS to pair with Changli or a future fusion DPS, Encore is a viable option. However, keep in mind she can be tricky to play. Ultimately, whether or not you should pull for Brant depends on your specific needs and team's composition. If you have Changli, he is almost a must pull due to their synergy. If you don't have Changli, he can still be a good choice if you need a healer with decent damage potential and are willing to invest in energy regen. Before making any decision, I suggest trying out Brant during his trial stage. This will give you a feel for his playstyle and help you decide if he is the right choice for you. I hope this guide helped you deciding whether you should or you shouldn't pull for Brant. So good luck with your pulls and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep gaming, and this is MJ signing off.